Morning everybody, it's Mike again with Hills and Haulers Homesteading and Prepping, and we have a muddy, wet day here. It's been raining since yesterday. It finally stopped this morning, and we are pretty much saturated. That noise you hear in the background is our standby generator because we lost electric this morning. And we lost electric about 3 times last night, just short flickers. And I mean, it rained. And it rained pretty heavy at times, but we didn't have thunder and lightning and high winds or anything like that. And that's typical for where we live here, is that, believe it or not, we actually lose power more often in calm, nice weather than we do in storms. And why, I couldn't tell you. We are on a different electric provider than a lot of other folks. Mainstream in this, in West Virginia. We're on a co-op, and they're really good with their service and repairs. I mean, honest to goodness, I mean, we pay more for the electric service. Yes, good morning, sir. We pay more for the service and everything, for the power, but you cannot argue and complain about the service that we get from them when something needs done or repairs need to be done. Now, we've been out of power for just over an hour right now. Yes, I know. Which is nothing bad. I mean, if you can't live without electric for an hour, you're on life support. And so, having the home standby generator is a great thing. It's a convenience in our normal everyday lives. It's a game changer in a grid down situation. Now, of course, it runs on natural gas. As soon as our electric kicks off, within 7 to 10 seconds, we're up and running again. And doesn't really interrupt us at all. But in a grid down situation, that thing kicks on, we're still able to keep our electric and everything like that, and all the other services that kind of go along with it. And we're going to have to, at that point, start making a decision, if we know that it's going to be a long term, what to do to kind of, fridges and freezers. This thing will run the whole house. It'll run everything in the house at the same time. I spread some scratch greens out here for the chickens. So with that, I mean, then you have to start making your plans. Okay, what are we going to do? The natural gas is going to run for a period of time. The potential for it to go out is high if there's been a big grid down situation with electric. So what do we need to start doing right now to make sure that we don't lose what we have once the natural gas runs out or that service itself becomes interrupted? So at that point, all the meat and stuff in the freezers, as long as you leave the freezers and refrigerators closed, you can get an extended amount of time to prolong your food storage in there. But you need to start making alternate plans to get that food in another state that it can be preserved. So you're going to either be pressure canning a whole bunch of meat, you're going to be dehydrating a whole bunch of meat, or something like that in the meantime. So you're going to have to get your butt in gear. And that is if you know that it is going to be an extended grid down situation. Alternate forms of electricity, of course, gasoline standby or gasoline generators, even LP converted generators. Your fuel supply is going to run out eventually. So have that in consideration. Also, that usually those generators like that are not going to run your entire home. So you're going to have to be selective of what appliances you run for what you need to do. The other part of this is as you can hear, is noise. Now, that's not a big deal as long as there's nothing more than just an power outage or a long-term grid down situation. What creates that problem is what you need to focus on, and later on, when everybody else around you starts running out of gasoline or LP bottles, and you're still rocking your generator up here on the hill, and that sound here will travel a long ways. You can hear that generator a long ways off. You barely hear it in the house, but out here you can hear it a long ways off. And I'm actually I'm 80 yards away in the chicken coop right now, so you can still hear it pretty good. So, consider that noise situation, because when everybody else starts shutting off and they start running out of gas, and they hear, hey, somebody's still got a generator running, that's when people become your problem. And that's what I've talked about in other videos and stuff. So Again, it's a great convenience. It's a lifesaver in a grid down situation. It's going to buy you that extra time, and it's going to run, of course, until its fuel supply runs out or the generator itself gives out. And that thing will run, I think since we've had it, it's ran at least 24 hours before, in very little rise in cost of our natural gas bill. But it's a good convenience, and it's something to think about. Now, once all fuel runs out, or natural gas services get interrupted or anything like that, then I don't have anything to fall back on. I've got a gasoline generator, but it's only going to run a couple fridges and freezers and maybe a couple other small things, and it's only going to work until I run out of gasoline. So I need to look at alternatives, and that's where solar is going to come into play eventually in the future, that we really hope to do. And that is like I said, I was going to put solar panels on my outbuilding and do a little battery storage pack in there and everything, so I can umbilical off of it. I can use that to actually run the tools and stuff like that in my building and provide electric to it, and then I can umbilical off of it for my refrigerators and freezers and whatever else I can run off of it. And then solar can become your primary source of power until everything else eventually fails. But home standby generators, it's a good investment. They're pricey. Don't get me wrong, they are pricey, and you definitely want a designated natural gas supply to it. There's a lot of companies around here to where if you don't have natural gas to your residence, and you consider getting a big LP tank like a 500 or a 1,000 gallon LP tank, there are a lot of those providers around here who will not lease you a tank because they're not going to make any money off of that. If you're going to lease a tank and designate it solely for that generator, and this is what they've told me time and time again, is that they won't do it because they're not going to make any money off of that. Even though you're leasing that tank from them, you're leasing it yearly, and they're only going to fill it, if you're only using it for generator use, they're only going to fill it once every, however long, you run your generator. So, you can run into that. The other option to that is buying your own tank and everything like that and getting them to agree to fill it. So those are the things you got to think about and consider for in the future. You can take a gasoline generator, you can get a simple conversion kit to where you could just change out and just part of the carburetor and stuff like that, and pop one side off, pop this thing on, and you can run it off a little LP tanks like you run off your grill and stuff off of. So that option is there too. But of course, how much LP are you going to store in one of those 30-pound tanks, I think is what they are. So still an option, still give you a little bit of added protection and added comfort there for a long-term grid down situation. But today it's still cloudy. I think the rain's pretty much over with for the day. It is going to get colder tonight, so I haven't had a fire going. I haven't built a fire in a wood stove for more than a week now, because we've had 50 and 60 degree weather, and last night it didn't get below 52 here, and you're talking January 2nd. That's just crazy. So you need to consider. Ivan, how did you get out? Everybody else was locked up. My dumbass rooster got out, and I don't know how he's getting out unless he's just flying right up over the fence, which I think he might be doing, because a chicken can fly 6 feet straight up. The hens don't tend to do it, but this sucker does it all the time. So, and then he gets out there and hangs out outside because he can't get to the hens, and so he's mad all day because he's running around the gate or running around the fence in the coop and he can't get to them. Yeah, well, you know what he's thinking with. Anyways, so that's it this morning. Just opportunity, the standby generator come on because we're out of electric. It's down. We don't know when it's going to come back on at this point. I really don't care. I don't care. We've in having that comfort and security by having a home standby generator is why I don't care, because I know this is weather related, and it's not going to be something that's going to be a long-term outage. If it's like I said, if it's something that's going to be a long-term situation, I might want to consider alternate forms of preserving the foods and stuff that I have in my refrigerators and freezers, or even starting to cycle my generator for 4 hours at a time to get the temperatures back to where they need to be in the fridge and freezers and stuff, and keep them closed for as long and much as possible. So that's it. Just an opportunity again for a little video, and I come out here to let the chickens out. Y'all please give us a like, give us a thumbs up here on the YouTube channel, leave us a comment, tell us what you think. Subscribe to the channel if this is content that you like and you're like-minded, and let us know what you think. Take care, keep prepping, and God bless.